But don't. I don't know. Maybe that one came in clean, Matt. Production quality been difficult for sure. Good morning. It's noon where you are. It's already 3:30 in the afternoon in Booger Glob, Yugoslavia. Matt, how you doing? You know, soon we're going to have that with the Olympics, where it's going to be the middle of the. I don't know. What's your over under on how many hours?
So we haven't talked about the Olympics. It's February 3rd, so it's not that far away.
We talked a little bit about that it's going to be the super spreader event of the century, and they're going to release the next virus. But that's for a different show.
Right.
That's for our conspiracy theory show.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about, old man Shaun White going for his 5th Olympics, 4th golds? I don't know. It's
not his last Olympics, by the way.
I didn't say it was his last. I just said.
Well, I mean, everybody's saying it's his last Olympics, but he's gonna transition.
Oh, right.
He's gonna compete as a female in the next.
He's gonna take on Chloe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, conspiracies for another. Man, I love your hat. Shrimp Mojo, Manja TV, Rub Me, and I have the Rub Me Brandon version available at redbubble.com. What did Lee say? We got Lee right away in there chiming. Athletes have been warned not to eat meat due to steroids. You know what? There's a lot of things that can kick a false positive or a positive positive. Steroids in meat, I could see that being a problem.
But what if you're training to be the best female as a next male on a female team?
You know what? Here's the thought, and here's my argument against letting transgender men compete as females, because if you think that is okay, then you should have no problem with doping and females taking steroids and testosterone enhancement protocols to up their game, whatever game that there is.
I think again, the numbers.
Listen, we're off topic. I don't know. We came right in off topic, and I blame it on me. I apologize.
Right?
Matt, let's face it, albinos have the most white privilege. I don't know. I thought I saw that, thought it funny. And listen to me, if you are not paying attention to that, there's no news and only narratives, and that the not white, not albino synagogue attacker was somehow he
was
British.
Thought
well, what was the argument, Matt? That he identified as a white person, so it's still a white person's fault?
No, he identified as a British citizen. And everybody, and so they made that the narrative, even though he was trying to free a Paki neuroscientist.
I don't know.
We're
going to talk food.
Who's in federal prison? So that's the story. I don't know anything about her, but he was all. But maybe it's his girlfriend. He's just looking for a little love.
All right, Matt. Before we talk food, let me share, because you know how somebody sends you a YouTube, right? And it's interesting and you watch it, right? But then on YouTube, the right column has a bunch of other videos. So I'm going to share this because I saw it via that way. That's how I came to it. Before we talk food, we talk sports. And there's one thing that I can do is share if I'm allowed to share. And so far, I'm still not allowed to share.
Yeah, it's not behaving for me right now. Hang on.
No one's behaving. All right. And we're going to talk food. Maybe I should bring the food picture up while you try to navigating production. And Matt, you shared this. Nope. You shared this. Nope. Wrong. God, man, this production is brutal today. This was Matt's plate with this pesto, and I had an immediate question. We talked about it yesterday. Subliminally, I don't know. I don't have to say anything more than holy. Was that linguine with Italian sausage plate or what? I don't know.
Well, it kind of looks like this. So what was it? No, on the plate, it's just flowers, like I told you. But your drawing made it look like a dick.
That is not flowers. All right. All right, man, let's go right here. Sam Snead, let me set the stage for you. 1963. I'm for sure messing diapers here, or maybe not even born yet. Sam Snead versus Jack Nicklaus, a 51-year-old Sam Snead versus a 23-year-old Jack Nicklaus. 17, and he's completely pancaked. Snead has completely pancaked his ball there, right? And so let's just go and see what he does. Obviously not playing even at the pin, right? Because it's so pancaked. So he just splats it out there. And then this is one of the best shots in golf I've ever seen. He's got a big ridge, right? There's boy Jack. Jack's giving a little narration of it.
And then I chipped it up and then kind of rolled in.
Is that awesome?
Yeah.
He chips it. I got to tell you, man, I love seeing it. All right, Matt, food. We talked about food and how food companies, and I don't know this, I need to do a little bit more investigating on, for sure there's rising labor costs, inputs, right? The inputs for the cost of food ingredients, right, has been rising. And the consumer's getting hit with inflation on every angle. At some point, there's food elasticity, right? And so maybe we're bringing up Kraft Heinz in honor of our great climate fighter and Heinz, married to Heinz heir. What's his name?
John Kerry.
John Kerry, part of the Clinton crime family, but a big stockholder in
starring Al Gorleone.
Al Gorleone, henchman of the Clinton crime. Man, I'm having a difficult time today.
What happened last night? Were you...
Please bring up Heinz and save me from myself.
Oh my God. Yeah, Kraft Heinz merged. Used to be two separate companies, came together, food conglomerate. It's had a nice little rally here from December, low of 33, got up here to 38. This is about a year chart that we're looking at. So it's into balance. I don't know what to say. No.
Well, my thought is like something like Kraft, like there's going to be a lot more Kraft dinner being made as far as I'm concerned.
You think so?
As you get squeezed. Yeah. I mean, I actually think inflationary where people get pressured on their food budget, something like Kraft Heinz is probably going to benefit from that.
Well, the Chinese own Smithfield Foods, so I can't show you that one anymore. That used to be a publicly traded pork company, as you probably well know, but that's owned by the Chinese. I don't know. I mean, so is your pork products, are they going to change? What's going on? Tell me your story, Bob.
Listen, there's a whole lot of moving parts going on. And I, honest to God, I traded hogs today and was up money and lost money. You want to take a look at an impossible chart to trade intraday. It's the hogs for sure.
I don't know
African swine fever now in Europe and then jumping to Italy, 800 miles. Obviously it was in somebody's food or something that they brought. If that lands on the shore here, I don't know. Hogs are for the faint, are not for the faint of heart. So let's talk coffee, because I got nothing to add to hogs except I have no idea which way to be on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at coffee because it's had a hell of a run here. This is again looking back about a year, low of 117 up to 252, testing that high again here. Will we go higher? Out of value, very bullish. And as with most things, inflation is real in the coffee biz. So, and I need another one. So can you get me one while you're teeing up the next chart?
Another chart?
Coffee.
Oh yeah, another. How about Dutch Brothers? I know you shared it in another community that we are part of, a little move in Dutchies today. And we've talked about Dutch Brothers before. A lot of you probably don't know what Dutch Brothers is, but it's a Pacific Northwest centric coffee purveyor, and they got the bulletproof drive-through situation. Two lanes coming and going.
It's the in and out model for coffee, basically, with young kids selling you coffee drinks and Slurpees. That's the big thing. It's all sugar, Bob. It's all sugar, and I mean, their drinks taste great if you like sugar, which sometimes I do. I'll go get a caramel freeze or one of those things because I'm just feeling a little sugar. But this thing has been pretty, in the last couple months after going public here, it's been struggling, and again, it's not behaving for me on the chart here. So that goes along.
Internet problems. Man,
No,
it's probably the 5G.
I don't know what's going on today. Yeah. Speaking of 5G.
Let's move right on. 5G in the news as some foreign flights are not coming in. I have a pilot friend, and I will get some real on the grounds intel on this in the next day or so. But if 5G has a giant problem with aviation, and all you need is one hard landing,
right,
cause from it, and there's going to be some repercussions. But
yeah, so again,
let's look at a couple of
the Verizon. We've kind of worked off the bottom here. It's interesting. I didn't know Verizon was paying a dividend. I told you this the other day, so it's good to see. Back in 2000 when this thing was brand new. Well, it wasn't brand new, but it was just trading wildly back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, this thing is now 53.50, but the last couple of years, this is the low from the COVID start, 48.98. So it almost got down to that again here at 49.65. Probably was a good area, to take a stab. Obviously, it has gone up 10% or so, but I'm not sure what to think about this again, Bob. I mean, it's it could go up to $57. Again, if you're buying this, you're buying it because it pays a dividend. You're probably going to hold it. So I would look at the longer term charts for entries here. And if you get a good entry, take it. And, pullbacks right now look fairly strong as long as it holds those two lows, including the low from March of 20. It looks pretty solid to me, quite honestly.
And we were talking about it and bring it up. T-Mobile, how different that chart looks.
We'll talk
Verizon.
about.
It's crazy.
We've talked about AT&T a bit, so we'll talk about that again. And AT&T is sitting here again. It's been having a nice run for since late December when it tipped down here to 21. So this is up almost 30% now. Again, I would suspect anticipation of the whole 5G thing. That's what this is all about. So again, balance here on a couple year chart takes you up to 29 or $30, paying a nice dividend, 7.7. You mentioned T-Mobile, and again, T-Mobile Sprint, I think they're all one together now, aren't they? So those two dogs combined, their dog train, and this is not looking as pretty. This is really the opposite. So it's kind of like Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler in the 70s and 80s. Ford and General Motors were okay, while Chrysler was slowly dying.
Right.
And really, I haven't had T-Mobile service probably since the mid 90s. Back when everybody was new and you were just chasing the price. But it's not looking good, Bob. I mean, it's not a pretty chart. They don't pay a dividend. And to me, right here at the 103 level, if that goes, this thing could go all the way down to test lows in the 60s. So be careful with it. It doesn't look solid. It doesn't look like it's got solid footing to me.
Right on. Let me share from a standard deviation point of view, because I'm seeing a similar setup. I mean, these charts are completely different, just like you showed on the profile. And this is the 3-day T-Mobile, fully right-sided, falling away potentials on the 3-day. Nothing great about this chart. I mean, it's really got to make a stand here and somehow find a way out of this lower momentum on the 3-day, which is at 109. And then when you look at, let's just go to Verizon, let's just pick one of them. I mean, this chart's completely opposite. It's actually fighting for up momentum on the standard deviation modeling on the 3-day. Completely different chart. If these two were 2 months in hogs, Matt, I would be long Verizon, short T-Mobile as a spread for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, anywho. All right, Matt. Slow day today for me. I caught the break. I didn't participate in the rally. I've resold them again here late in the day. What are your thoughts about some equity index plays?
Yeah, I mean, we made new lows overnight on the equities, and we bounced. Once Britain opened, we started bouncing, and I think that was mainly because they called off the vid. No more masks, no more mandates, no more passports. So again,
who called off what? Where? Let's.
Oh, United Kingdom. I just said Boris Bojo. Bojo called it off. They had a little meeting, and they were all and then right after he called it off, they called for his head in Parliament, which is typical. I love watching Parliament. watching parliamentary is just like watching, it's like watching Monty Python. I mean, it's just like watching Monty Python. Like everybody's a jokester down there.
Parliamentary procedures.
Yes,
Matt.
the whole thing.
Parliamentary procedures.
And the way they mock each other, and I like it. It's probably, I guess that's what happens when you fall from the top like the UK did there in the 1800s, and it probably will be the way our government goes towards here in the future. That it'll all be comedy. I mean, it's already comedy, but they think they take themselves too serious, right? So it's already comedic, but a bunch of jokesters, anyways. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a quiet day. The Nasdaq's up 100, SPOs are up, whatever they're up. Oversold.
13.
Oversold. Bonds got a bounce today. Oversold, but it doesn't feel. We haven't taken out yesterday's highs or anything like that. So it's hard to get too excited. We could trade back up to in the Nasdaq 15.6 is where I'd be. 15.6 to 650. I'd be a seller. Strong again.
And is that your area where if you're short, if that plays out, you don't want to, you're starting to question whether you're.
Well, I would get short up in that area, like,
right on
in size. I mean, if you're beyond more than a day trade, I'm just looking at like a week long chart, somewhere up in there, 600 to 650 would be a decent area. But if it gets above 650, go back to 15.9.
What's great about
we were just there. We were just there 4 days ago. So
exactly. Yeah. Exactly, because you do this all the time, Matt. It's a constant narrative building. It's a constant if then, and it's a constant ability to say, you know what, the narrative I was building is broken. I'm wrong. Right. I need to be out. I can't marry this position. And I find it incredibly interesting that in society, in politics in particular, there is such little ability to divorce themselves from a losing narrative.
Yeah.
And if they were traders, they'd be carried out. Like all of these people should have to put money on their narrative and keep backing up with more money. Like the mask mandate people should be so leveraged right now and about to be blown out that, I mean, the narrative would go away quicker when it's shitty if there was a monetary penalty for sticking to it. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, frankly, that's probably why they're stopping in the UK, because the drama is just ridiculous at this point. Like, it's stupid. What else can they give us? It hasn't worked. They know it. I mean, they know it hasn't worked. So why keep pressing? Why keep pressing on a broken narrative? It gets old. It gets old. So, and I think to your point, that's kind of where they are. They're kind of at a spot where they want to, just take a break and move on to the next thing. Missiles are moving all over the world. I don't know what that means. Russia's rattling hard. I don't know. Any thoughts on that? Because that's, we did hit a new high on oil today, Bob. We traded up to 87 or so. So that's another interesting tidbit to me, and one that we should be paying attention to. Oil is not getting any cheaper. Still,
well, the oil chart looks like it wants to explode, and you got people putting up barricades around Parliament and around the White House
and Ottawa. Yeah, I mean it's
and
crazy.
Again, the news just doesn't cover. It's ridiculous. I saw the Tucker Carlson where he interviewed the gal from the Netherlands, I believe, the Dutch. Another thing I can't stand. But she was like, there's no news on the massive protests by millions of people worldwide.
Right.
Scott's here in this country. Nobody even knows what's going on.
Nobody covers it. That's interesting. I walked with a friend yesterday I hadn't seen probably in a year. And, intelligent surgeon, doctor. And, I was like, don't you know about all the, the mass protests in Europe? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh my God. And his daughter's over in Madrid. And it's shocking, but it's not shocking because he's a busy dude. I mean, he's in surgery. He doesn't have time to, watch alternative news. I mean, he's got patients and he's got, a life. So, I mean, the problem I think guys like you and I and traders have is we have too much time on our hands. It's the benefit and the problem. But there's so much, there's so much going on in the world that most of the world doesn't even know. Like they don't even know, and that all this stuff is going on. So it's pretty wild. Who knows? I don't know what happens. No idea, Bob.
Well, which always brings us back to price discovery, because you know where you're right and where you're wrong, and the only thing that you need then is the discipline to act, and that's what makes successful trading.
Right.
Calls to action that actually get fulfilled with a click of a mouse now.
Right.
It used to be opening up your mouth and saying bought or sold. Now it's like, sit down. Can you do this? Yeah. Okay. We got a trader on our hands. Sit down. Give him a desk. All right, Matt. I think I got to get out of this broadcast before I do something. Before
you stab yourself?
Exactly. I don't know what happened to me this morning. I'm completely off kilt.
You looked like you just came in from playing golf drinking with what was the guy's name from the 30s in golf, they would always show up, and he was good. He played with Hogan, but it wasn't Hogan. It was another guy with. Come
on, Lee. Lee's right out there. Supposed to be helping right now.
Anyways, he would show up. No. We're talking 30s, 1930s. He would show up with a scotch in his hand in his tuxedo on the first tee, just to make the time. So he was good. He was a heck of a player. It was fun to watch. And again, the characters, you kind of look like you were hanging out with them last night. So
I didn't even imbibe. No Irish flu here. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Dave.
I think then the other side of it is maybe you got too much sleep. It looks like you're well rested for sure.
I'm well rested. I demoed a kitchen. I got a lot of moving parts going on. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Anybody else? Anybody with a question on a symbol that we could give our opinion about? Chime in. If not, Matt, you have a great day. Please join us at marketvitals.io. Please visit Amazon.com and buy some Shrimp Mojo. How about FCX, Matt, on the way out? FCX, never heard of it.
Freeport McMoran. Again, miners. Again, this is the typical retail mindset. They want to buy the miners. I want to buy gold.
Lee's not your typical retail.
No, I'm just
I can guarantee you. Well, maybe he's got a lot of exposure in FCX.
It was
bring it up. Bring it up so we can see it.
Oh, I'm looking at it. Anyways, $30 back in September, now trading 44. So it's up 50%. It's a big move back to the range of the top, paying a little.
Got to be taking profits.
Got to be taking profits if it's been long. And again, this thing's been long, obviously, since since COVID. $4 up to 44. 10 bagger sold.
You got to be taking profits, selling calls. Hope to God they call it away from you.
Yeah. I mean, it's sitting up at the top. I mean, what slowing economy? I don't see mining being a good business. There's my opinion.
All right, Matt. Again, picture here is worth 1,000 words. Matt, one of my favorite things to order at a restaurant is bruschetta, right? It's Italian toast points with fresh mozzarella, tomato, little garlic, little balsamic, olive oil, a little Parmesan. But I just want to bruschetta is the frame. It's the idea. It doesn't have to be tomato-based bruschetta. And this is scallops with the Shrimp Mojo, little sauteed mushrooms on buttered toast points. Forget about it. There's a lot you can do with the Shrimp Mojo, baby. It's not just for shrimp, as Lee can attest.
It's not just for shrimp.
All right, baby. That's it. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I gotta go.
Get him out.
Thank you, Matt. Pull him.
Sayonara.
Give him the hook.
Sayonara.